Hey, we're going to look at median, mode, and range today. It's something you might have done a little bit at the end of fifth grade. Um, I'm going to mention, I have three examples here. I want you to make sure you watch all three examples. These aren't necessarily that difficult, but they're a little different depending on how many numbers you have. So I want you to make sure that you see every case and every example before you start your practice. I also would probably keep this page up because you will notice at the top I kind of have a little cheat sheet for you that's going to tell you what median, mode, and range are. So I'm just going to read these to you really quick. The median is the middle number when numbers are ordered from least to greatest. So if I order all my numbers up, whatever's right in the middle is my median. The mode is the number that occurs the most. That's the easiest one. It's just whatever number you have the most of. And then range is also pretty easy. It's just the difference between the biggest and the smallest number. So I'm going to jump straight into this first one. The first thing we're always going to do is order these numbers least to greatest. I cross them off as I go. So my smallest number is 13. Then I have two 14s. Then I have a 15. And then a 17, 18, 19. So those are my numbers ordered from least to greatest. I'm going to start off with the mode because that's the easiest one. If I look at these numbers here, the number that I have the most of, the only number that occurs more than once is 14, which means 14 is the number that occurs the most. So that's my mode. I am going to do range second because that's also pretty easy. Since we've ordered them least to greatest, we already know what the biggest and smallest numbers are. It's 19 and 13. And we should know that 19 minus 13 is 6. Lastly is median. I'm just trying to find what the middle number is. So what I usually do if I can't figure it out just by looking at it is I cross the two outside numbers off until I get to the middle. So I crossed out 13 and 19, then I crossed out 14 and 18, now I crossed off 14 and 17, and 15 is the number that's left over right in the middle. So that means my median, aka my middle number, is 15. So that was a pretty easy case. We're going to jump into a couple other ones, but you're keeping those same steps for every problem. So we jump into our second one. I'm going to start off by doing the exact same thing. I'm going to start off by ordering these numbers least to greatest, even though I only have four. I've got 22, 20, 22, 23, and I've got 24. So I've got those ordered least to greatest. The mode, again, that's the easiest one. But if you look at this, I don't have any numbers that occur more than once. Every number just occurs one time. So there is no mode on this. There's no number that occurs the most. So I'm literally over here next to mode. I'm just going to write none because none of them occur more than one time. Range, second easiest one. I'm just taking the biggest and the smallest. We know that 24 minus 20 is 4. So the range is 4. The median on this one is the one that's a little different. So if I do what I did on the last one and I cross off the two outside numbers and then the two next numbers, I don't have a number that's right here in the middle. So I don't have a median right off the bat, but there is a way to find it. We're looking for the number that's in the middle, and we're looking specifically for what's in the middle of 22 and 23. You might already know what's halfway in between those, but if you don't, what you're going to do anytime you have two numbers in the middle is you're going to add them up. So I'm going to do 23 plus 22, and I get 45. And then I'm going to divide by 2. So 45 divided by 2. 2 goes into 4 twice. And then 2 goes into 5 twice. I'm going to add a decimal and a 0 because I'm not done yet. But then I know that 2 goes into 10 5 times. So if you've got two numbers in the middle, just to rephrase that, you either need to figure out what's halfway in between them. You might have already known that 22.5 is halfway between. Or you can add those two numbers up and then divide by 2, and you will get your answer. So our median on that one is 22.5. You're only doing that when there's two numbers in the middle. Okay, we're going to do one more example. This one has some decimals, but it's the exact same way. I'm going to start off by ordering least to greatest. I have two 1.25s. Then I have a 4, a 6, and then I have two 7.5. So I'll just order those least to greatest like we are always going to start off with. We're going to start off with the mode. This one you might notice that we've got two numbers that occur twice. I've got 1.25 and 7.5 that both occur more than once. If you have two numbers that occur more than once and they both occur the most, that means you're going to have two modes. So the numbers that occur the most are 1.25 and 7.5. So it is possible to have more than one mode, and it is possible to have no mode if you have no numbers occurring more than once. This one I have two numbers that occur twice, so I have two modes. Then I'm going to get to range. I'm going to subtract the biggest and the smallest. I'm going to make sure I line those decimals up. Uh, 10 minus 5 is 5, 4 minus 2 is 2, and then 7 minus 1 is 6. So my range is 6.25. And then lastly is median. I'm looking for the middle number, so I cross off the furthest out. Then I cross the two out that are on the outside again, and then I have two numbers left in the middle. So I'm looking for what's right here in between those. Well, we're going to do the exact same thing we did on the last one. You might already know what's halfway between 4 and 6, but if you don't, we're going to add them and then divide by 2. So 6 plus 4 is 10, and then 10 divided by 2, we know is 5. So my median, the middle of that number set, is 5. I know that was a lot of information. We will be on Google Meet all day long if you need any sixth grade math teacher between 8 and 4. Like I said, if you need to go back and rewatch this video, I would, but keep this part up so you keep the different parts, so you don't confuse the median, mode, and range. If you have any questions, let your sixth grade math teacher know.